Hello, Mr. Chuck here. This is the Polynesian Settlement. I'm going to show you how I've approached this. It's not too difficult. And this is day one of my settlement. As you can see, I'm putting in the small huts. And I'm going to give you all my tricks and tips on how I approach this so that you can complete this as fast as possible. As you can see, I built 6 small huts to start with, even though you only needed, I think it was 2 or 4. And then I built 5 of the totems, even though you only needed 3, but you need 30. We'll see later on. And you also need, I'm going to build 2 production buildings so that you can have do 2 5-hour production runs. So in 5 hours you can collect 10 units. So the reason I do that is to speed up the collection process. So in 1 hour I'll come back and I'll set that, and in 5 hours or 4 hours, I'll come back and supposedly collect my seashells. I build all those huts, one, so that I can build 2 production units, and also so I can produce more seashells, because at the beginning, you have a shortage there. Also, when you add, the trick here is the first trick is to expand as fast as possible, and the second advice is to complete the quest as fast as possible. So your goal is to expand first and then complete the quest. So you got to do whatever it takes to do those 2 things as fast as you possibly can. So that's the process I'm doing. When I expand, I'm going straight out. I'm not going out to the side in either direction. I'm going straight out in front of because that gives me the most squares that I can use. If you go out to the left side, you won't be able to build as much because you have more wasted squares, and I learned that by trial and error. So that's what you got to be aware of. There you go. It's been an hour later, and I set my 5-hour production. And another thing is you got to look. I use FOE Helper to see what I need to produce the most of, because later on, that's what we have to consider, what you have to build. Okay, it's 5 hours later. I missed my collection of my seashells, so I'm collecting them all at once. Before you get done with day 1, check the start of day 2 to see what my final layout was. Because sometimes I come back and I change it after I'm done. When I'm finished recording, I might come back and change my layout. So I try not to do that, but occasionally I do. I'm collecting seashells. Now I'm collecting my production units. And the first thing I'm going to do is expand. It doesn't matter which one and where the impediments are, because you're going to get enough impediment removers to take care of them as you go along. So it doesn't really matter at this point. So I collect that one. You got to go out of flat mode to remove the impediment. Okay, you only got enough. Build 1 dance stage. And then I have to move the small huts around. They'll build 1. I have to build 1 more. I have to remove 1 hut, and I have to move them around to make room to build my palm garden. And I have to delete one of the Fisher buildings. So I move them around there. I built a second stage. Okay, I finished that quest. Next quest is build the next bigger building, which we have to unlock it first. Well, right there, I went ahead and I did that wrong. No, I didn't. At this point, I have to, I believe, get 15. I need 10 more fish units in order to unlock the palm garden. So in another 5 hours, I'll come back and do that. I got ahead of myself there. I'm sorry. When I unlock the palm garden, then I'll delete one of those small huts and make room to put the palm garden. And I should have enough seashells. I have 1,700 seashells at this point. When those dance studios, I'll collect those once an hour, and I will have enough of those. I got 4,000 now. I can do 10 hours of the fisher hut, of the fish and the palm garden for overnight to produce 10 hours. So I would be able in the morning, because it's morning, to collect the 10 palm, which will satisfy a quest, and then I'll be able to see the quest is satisfied. And now I'm able to get a second expansion. The first 2 production houses that you build and you produce, you get 1 expansion of 5 units. The next 2 production units you build, you get 2 expansions each. That gives you a total of 6 total expansions, and that's all you need for this settlement. So now I got enough room. I can go 2 ways here. I can build a second palm garden depending on what I need to produce the most of to get the next quest finished, or to finish the next quest. In this case, at this settlement, I needed to build another palm garden. So that's what I did. And what I'm doing here is I move my embassy down to that corner, because that's where I always do. And then eventually I build a second palm garden up above it. My second city that I'm running at the same time that I'm not showing you, I didn't need a second palm garden because I didn't need as many coconuts. So I built a third dance stage to produce more seashells, because I'm short on seashells right now. So I need to get more seashells produced to get ahead on that game. So it depends on what you need to do to satisfy your next quest. So I need to build those dwellings. So I need to unlock it first. So if I need to have more coconuts, instead of taking 20 or 30 hours to do that, you build 2 palm gardens so you can unlock it faster. If you only need to do it over a 10-hour period, which my other city had, I was able to only have to do it over 10 hours. And then my fish, I already had enough. So in 10 hours, I'd be able to unlock it. Therefore, I built a dance stage because that gave me 33 diplomacy, and I was able to produce some seashells. So it all depends on what you need to do, on what you build next. And that's the strategy here. You always got to be looking at the FOE helper to see what you need next, and then plan accordingly on the next step you need to take and then do what is the fastest thing you need to do in order to achieve the next goal the fastest way possible. So that's what I'm doing here. And that's where we're coming up to the end of. And remember, this is my layout now, but check day 2 to make sure this is the same layout that I had at the end. Because at the start of day 2, I'll go in flat mode at the very beginning, and that'll be the layout I had at the end, at the very end of day 1.